I had a little slip there, was the outdated technology and the kind of tech infrastructure that we had in the city. And we have a great IT director in Mike Coletta, but we also engage a lot of private citizens, a lot of their knowledge and expertise to help us solve those problems. Outdated servers, we didn't have really a capital improvement plan for technology. And technology is so important because if you do it right, it makes people more productive, and not only do you provide better service and more customer-friendly service, but you can also get your personnel costs down because your productivity goes down. And we meet a lot of citizens. They help provide information, and they've continued to monitor our progress. It's worked out very well. We're I don't know that we're in the 21st century, but we're at least in the late 20th century. This is kind of a catch-all category, which is talking about how we try to change the way that City Hall would work with people. We try to make it more accessible. So every month we have community meetings. We go out in the neighborhoods. I go door to door. Some of my directors go door to door with me. We have community meetings similar to this, where we take questions and we try to be very open and available to people. We use social media like Facebook. If you haven't signed up for our page, please do that. We've gone from about 250 residents that we notify on a regular basis through email about what's happening in the city to almost 4,000. So the difference is really incredible in terms of how much information that we can get out there to the community. Our website is much more user-friendly. The number of people using it has really gone through the roof. And you can also complain about things and make requests very easily through the website. And then a manager knows that they have about 48 hours to respond. So if you click on report a problem and you say I have a pothole in front of my street, our streets department is going to get that. And usually within 24 hours, if not 48 hours, it's filled. And that's so much quicker and so less personnel intensive than getting on the phone, calling somebody, taking a message, trying to route it to the right place. And it's really the future of where government is headed. One of the things that we've done, I think, well, is that we've communicated this message to a larger public than just ourselves. We've gotten a tremendous amount of positive media, and just a couple to mention is when This Old House magazine named Lakewood the best place in the Midwest to buy an old home, and that Inside Business magazine listed us as the best place in Ohio to raise a family. After we kind of got our internal processes straightened out, the next thing that we really wanted to do was to see if there were opportunities to save even more money, become more efficient by sharing services, by trying to have cooperative arrangements with other cities. And right now we're in the middle of several of those possibilities. One of them is we're going through a process right now with the other West Shore suburbs where we're looking at providing fire services, or at least some level of fire services on a regional basis. And that process is ongoing, and there haven't been any decisions made on it. But there may be ways, even if the fire service is not a joint fire service, but ways to share equipment or certain responses and share them amongst communities. We have a proposal I'm going to talk about a little bit called a solar improvement district. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then we're also making proposals that we should be sharing our health risk pools, really, so that instead of a city like Lakewood just trying to negotiate on our own for health insurance reimbursement rates, that we would get more purchasing power by combining with other cities and then negotiating from more of a position of strength. Preserving essential services. I just wanted to note this because I think it was important that even while we were cutting our budget by 27%, there was a lot of services that, even though we scaled them back somewhat, it is important to note that we are providing them at a greater rate and a greater extent than almost any other community. And social service is one of those things. We have about 3,500 individuals that are participating in our social services in one form or the other. These are a few of them: aging, early childhood, youth. We still have 32 employees in our Human Services Department. And if you're wondering how that compares to other cities, the average for like communities is about 5. So we still do a tremendous amount. There are more human service options in this city than any other suburb in Cuyahoga County. And in our zeal to cut the budget, which was necessary, we made sure that we provided or continue to provide essential services. We're also working with our human service providers in trying to provide more transportation options. One of the terrible things that happened in 2009 were some of the decisions that were made by RTA to cut back on some of their transportation services. It's an essential part of what allows some people in this community to be independent, and cutting the circulator service was something that we were very disappointed and very vocal about. And I think this community argued against that more vociferously than any other community in the county. I know RTA feels that way. And we have negotiated with them a one-day-a-week service that's going to be starting, my guess is, by April at the latest, which will be on Friday afternoons. And it's not a replacement for what happened, but we're sensitive about it. We're trying to at least keep that option open to the extent that we can. And actually, that's something Councilwoman Antonio was here, and that's something that I worked on with her. She feels very passionately about that. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what was happening a couple years ago when it comes to law enforcement trends. There wasn't any one particular year where all of a sudden